This morning out walking late November. It's 30-something degrees outside, and as I'm walking, I'm thinking about all the stories that people have shared on the things that they are thankful for and the life lessons that they've learned. Today, you are in for a treat. One of my favorite people in the world, her name's Carol Ann, is going to be sharing with us today something that she's grateful for and also an incredible life lesson that she's learned. Now, let me tell you about Carol Ann. Carol Ann is one of the most outgoing, friendly, compassionate, creative, and ultimately loyal people that I have ever met in my life. I've been blessed to know her for many years. I've also been blessed to do ministry with her, to be able to work together and see God do some incredible things. And as I think about people who have made an impact in my life, different people in ministry have done that. But I think about Carol Ann as one of those that, you know what? I am a better person. I'm a better minister. I'm a better follower of Christ because of the years that I've had Carol Ann in my life. And I think over the next few minutes, as you're going to listen to some of the things that she's going to share, at the end of that, you're going to be better as well. So Carol Ann, I love you. Appreciate who you are. Appreciate the influence that you've had in my life. And thanks so much for sharing. I know that people are going to be encouraged by the words they're about to hear.
Good morning. I wanted to come and share with you this morning. Jay asked me to share a couple of things. And I've been contemplating those things for a couple of days now. So I came out to the playground on our church property, and just because this is the place that reminds me a lot of the things that brought Jay and I together, but also the things I'm thankful for, and the life lessons I've learned have always had something to do with children. Jay and I met probably 15, 20, maybe closer to 20 years ago now, working for the Georgia Baptist Convention and just training for children's and youth ministries. Loved doing that, loved getting to meet him and his brother Patrick years and years ago. And I just remember the first time meeting him, we spent a ride up to Ridgecrest, North Carolina on the way to a training, and sharing with him about, at that time in my life, God had placed my first two children in my home. In my late 30s, I went through a really tough time which leads me to my life lesson, that is. In my late 30s, I had a real tough time. I've never been married, and I was struggling a good bit with that loneliness and just, what is God's plan now? Why does it have to be this? And why do I have to be by myself? That kind of thing. And I started praying, and I thought I was praying for a husband. And ended up within the next 6 months of that process, God bringing a 7-year-old little boy named Jason into my life. And eventually ended up over the next 3 years, to make that shorter, adopting 4 children, all from the same sibling set. And it changed my life. Not only did I learn a lot of life lessons through that God has a better plan than I do. And my timeline, he laughs at that sometimes, but that his plan is the greatest plan for us. And the biggest lesson that he has taught me just in this past year even, like I said, I've been in children's and youth ministries now for over 30 years. And but last year, when my oldest son, that 7-year-old boy, is now 20, and last year when he graduated from high school, decided he was moving up. He was going to go seek out some things in his own life. And I realized quickly that I had spent a lot of time and for 12 years and I felt like I had done a really good job teaching him to be a good, godly kid. He loved Jesus and knew he'd accept him as his Savior, as all 4 of my kids have now. But when he walked out that door, I realized wasn't sure I had prepared him to be a godly adult. And I want to challenge you in that, as far as my life lesson I learned, is we're raising our kids, it's not just about whether they're good kids now, but that we are giving them the life skills they need through Jesus Christ and his relationship with us to make it through life. And they need that. They need it desperately. I mean, we've always needed it, but I feel like in this day and time, they need it now more than ever. And then my thing that I'm most thankful for, again, would not just be obviously my children and the family that God's given me, but the most important thing I'm thankful for is my relationship with Christ. And the fact that Jesus chose me, that he chose to come and save us, that he chose to come and die for us. And I know that sounds like a Sunday school answer, guys, but the bottom line of it is that's the only answer I know. It's the only answer that's kept me through life and sustained me to be able to be a single mom of 4 teenagers now. And I just can't say enough. I want to encourage you that if you may, even if you know him as your Savior, I pray that you've made him your Lord. And if you haven't, my challenge for you is that you revive that thankfulness and the living in a grateful heart for what Jesus has done for us. Thank you, Jay, for this opportunity. I love you, buddy.
Wow, Carol Ann's story, powerful. What a great motivation and challenge to all of us. When I think about her life and her story and who she is and what God has done in and through her life, I think about the role that she has played in her kids' life of adopting Jason and Savannah and Aaliyah and Preston and pouring her life into them. Did you hear what she said? It's not about our timing, and it's not really about our purpose. It's about God's timing and accomplishing God's purpose in our life. So where are you at in your life? What purposes and timing of God do you need to adopt in your life? Do you need to step out and just not only have Jesus as your Savior, but as she said, being your Lord? I often think about, what does that mean for Jesus to be your Lord? That means he's your boss. He's in charge. He's the one that you go to. He's the one that you rely on. And I have seen that lived out in Carol Ann's life so many times. So wherever you're at today, I just want to remind you of this. God has a purpose and God has a plan. It might not always be exactly what we want or we think is best, but we can trust that God always has our best in mind. Carol Ann, I love you, sister. You've been an incredible influence in my life. I'm always better off by being with you, and I appreciate who you are and what you've done in my life. As I always say, if you want to hike the mountain, you do it one step at a time. I am inspired by the steps that you've taken in your life and hope that I can step in the same way in my life. Hike on, my friends.